Good morning, everybody. How you all doing out there today? We want to welcome you guys to our live here this morning. This is Alvin Tucker with Fortitude Leadership Academy. I have our team here today. I have some members of our team. I have Mr. Carlos, Mr. Troy, and Mr. Shannon. So we welcome you guys to our live. This morning, we're just going to talk to you guys about a few things. For those that don't know, we go out into the schools here, MPS schools here in Montgomery, Alabama. We serve about 6 of the schools from elementary to middle school, and we actually go. We visit the schools on a weekly basis, and we actually mentor the young men there by way of life skills. So there's several lessons that we've done during the year, and so we're beginning to recap some of that information so that we can share with our young folks. So moms, dads, if your young people are there, we ask that you gather them around your computer, share your cell phone with them. So we have some great information to share with you guys today. We'll be talking about, we talk about several things, anything from motivation, self-awareness, how to deal with conflict, anti-bullying, a host of things. But today, we want to just kind of focus in on preparing to return to school in this fall. So we're going to be talking about some things, giving you some practices that you can put in place so that you can be ready for that particular time. So we're going to jump right into this. Carlos, if you don't mind, just kind of give us some things that the parents can do, or what are some things you think the parents can do this summer to start preparing their kids for the fall?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Alvin, and welcome all of you guys to Fortitude Leadership Academy discussion session. We're going to be talking about preparing to go to school, and I think the time is now to start preparing. All the kids and some of the parents need to know some of the things that they might encounter when they go back to school during the fall. I know in my lifetime, this is the longest period of time that I've known school to be out. And when kids return in the fall, it'll probably be approximately 6 months of being out of school. Mm-hmm. So the question is going to be, what can parents and students do to prepare themselves now for return to school in the fall? And for those kids that's been part of the Fortitude Leadership Mentoring Program, we've tried to instill in them some of the key skills that they can use now to get ahead in the fall. And some of those skills you mentioned earlier, and we have a lot of skills that we teach the kids, but some that we're going to be talking about today is teamwork. We're going to be talking a little bit about making a decision, being responsible, and definitely adapting and being flexible when school returns in the fall. Okay. And some of the other skills that we've taught some of the kids, I know Mr. Alvin and Mr. Troy and Mr. Shannon, I know during the last 3 years, we went over this over and over with kids about communicating. That communication is having a conversation between two people or more, and that's sending and receiving information. They're going to need that skill. We talked about teamwork, because during the summer, if you're at home alone, you could probably need to get in a group and learn to study. One person may have more strength, or maybe better in math than the other. So if you share that information, that's going to be good things for you and the other person to learn from and going back to school in the fall. We also talked about being self-respectful. We talked about branding, and I think last week, I think Mr. Hutch and I think Mr. Alvin talked about branding. Your branding is your name, and your name is just as important as anything else. If the teacher knows that you're interested in class and school, then your name going to speak for themselves when they say, hey, I know this student here is prepared. He prepared himself for the year. And then some barriers. Those are some of the skills there. Learning how to overcome barriers and problem solving. So all of those skills that we talked about in the last 3 years or so are going to be important for kids going back to school. Absolutely. And like I said before, this is something that's going to be unknown to most parents because it's been over 6 months. But some of the information, if you gather it now, it's going to be helpful for you and the kid when school returns in the fall.
Yeah, just being at the house, of course, we used to go into the schools. We were what, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday in the school. So it's a big change for us, because we don't know the direction of where the school system is going to be. We're not sure if the kids are going to be back to what we would call a normal type of school year. So as mentors, we're going to have to adapt and make some changes as well, in our preparation. A lot of things that the teachers were able to do that face to face, as a mentor, not being able to have our summer program, we're affected by that. So preparation is very important. We had a conversation the other day, my wife and we was talking about some of the things that parents, and I want to jump down to the parent piece, Mr. Carlos, if that's okay. So as far as parents are concerned, what are some things that they can do to prepare for the fall? Now, with the younger kids, elementary kids, like my wife teaches kindergarten, so I just thought about this early this morning. Those parents, they have like they give them a supply list, and that supply list, even before the COVID-19, it has always consisted of hand sanitizer, napkins, paper towels, and all these things. But now, because of the COVID-19, a lot of that stuff is not on the shelves. So, what are parents going to do to prepare if school is in, whereas those kids are going to school? What are you going to do? Now we've been ordained to have masks. You got to be prepared for those type of things. So, as a parent, what are you doing to prepare for your child to return to school? The things that parents have to do. Also, you need to prepare your kids, because Ms. Carlos mentioned earlier, this is the longest time kids have been out. This is very uncomfortable for us as mentors, but they've been out since what was March? Sometime in March. This is a long time. So I know that Fortnite, our boys love playing Fortnite. All these video games, cell phones. During the summer, my kids tend to stay up later. We allow that, but they've been out 6 months. I mean, well, since March. I'm not sure 6 months, but a long time now. So you've got to get kids back into a routine. You got to start by cutting down the hours on the notebooks, iPads, things of that nature. So it's a lot of things you've got to begin to do. I've noticed one thing, that the schools are beginning to call, leave messages about notebook returns, and then also pre-registrations. Are you talking to the teachers? Are you talking to the administration? Are you connecting with them? Are you on social media? I noticed that a lot of those calls, they will end with check your social media, check your inboxes, and all those different types of things. So one thing I believe parents need to do is become a little bit more computer savvy. Get on that computer and understand what your child, the work they're doing, understand how to get them logged in, because that's going to be important. Because I don't believe, and this is nothing that has been said, but I don't foresee school just being at a 100% back at the physical campus starting this particular fall. It could be, but of course we're all waiting to see that. So those are some things that I believe that the parents should begin to prepare their students for. Listen to your children, because we are all concerned about ourselves, but these kids, they miss school. That's where their friends are. They're missing their teachers. Teachers are missing their students. So listen to them and see what's on their minds. We sometimes look over them because we are adults and we're looking for things that satisfy us. I remember we do need to talk about a few things that the kids can do also. But one last thing I wanted to say is that I remember when school was actually was in, and the parents. My wife teaches at Wilson Elementary, and I remember doing the parades, going through the little communities, and the kids outside, they was just so excited just to see the administration and the teachers come through the schools. Those kids, they love their teachers, they love the administration. So they're crying. The last day of school, they're crying because they won't see their teacher. It's a lot of things that kids are dealing with also. So parents, listen to your children and talk to them to expect the unexpected. So someone just talk about a few things that the kids can do to prepare.
Well, one of the things I'd like to bring up that I kind of observed from talking to a few teachers towards the tail end of the school year was that when they went to online classes, a lot of teachers were having trouble making contact with the students. So a lot of students wasn't even completing some of the online lessons that was available to them. So the concern comes in that them going to another grade, what's the expectation for them? Because starting a new grade, a lot of times they don't go back and cover a lot of stuff that was taught in the previous grade. So there could be a serious gap for these kids going back to school. So a lot is going to probably be put on the parents' shoulders to help cover that gap, because the school still has to go on. You can't be in fourth grade still trying to teach a third grade lesson. So I think a lot of it going to be put on the parents to try and help fill that gap with their students. With their children. So I think some of the resources they should be looking for now, if they haven't already done it, is to try and find as many tutors in different subjects that they possibly can. I know with Fortitude, we offer tutoring to try and help the students out, and hopefully they take advantage of those resources that are available to them. Also try to get, books, workbooks for the next grade, have their child start working in those workbooks. There are also a lot of websites, with information catered to each student, for whatever grade they go into. And Mr. Carlos kind of mentioned it, that group peer study. A lot of times they have older brothers and sisters in the house that are there to help them, but sometimes they don't go to ask their brother and sister for help. They'll continue to try and work through a problem and do it wrong versus ask for help and try to do it the right way. Raising my daughter, one of the things, I think she's a very smart student, but one of the things that she didn't like doing was asking a question to the teacher while in class. It's so important now, especially with online, that they ask questions. If they don't know the information, it's important that they ask questions, to try and get it right and seek help. One thing I always live by: no question is a dumb question. The only dumb question is the question that's not asked. So,
right. Wow. So, when you was talking about a lot of the help having to come from the parents, so there's an integrity piece that has to be added. So there's some good things about virtual schooling, because one thing, the parents have to get involved. So especially with the elementary kids, even with what we're doing as mentors. So we have also do mentoring by way of Google Classroom. We have a Google Classroom where we submit information for our guys to log in and take advantage of that. But even with us as mentors, that virtual piece has forced the parents to become active, because they have, the kids don't have these accounts. With the school, they have accounts to log in, but the parent has to assist to ensure that child is doing what they're supposed to do. Even with the mentoring program, parents are having to check out that the child saw the different videos that I submit. So the positive about our current situation is that parents are having to get involved. But being involved, Mr. Carlos, let's talk a little bit about integrity. So if the parents has to be involved, if you're doing virtual school, you do not have access to a teacher. As a parent, you have to administer tests. Now, this whole situation right now for me reminds me of the magnet schools, because one of my daughters in magnet program, and a lot of it is facilitation, I believe, but we as a parent, we have to assist to make sure that they complete different projects. And I think now this virtual piece, all parents are having to do that. But Carlos, what do you think about how does integrity play a part in virtual school? And when I say that, I'm meaning by way of parent-student testing, homework, classwork. Does integrity play a part in this?
I know integrity play a part. It's just a matter of how important and what kind of standards a person have. Most kids, when they're 4th, 5th, 6th grade, they probably know right from wrong. So the integrity part of it is doing the right thing when nobody is around all the time. And the integrity part is also knowing your strength and your weaknesses and then trying to do something to improve on those. And that's what being prepared actually means. And the definition of prepared is to practice. It means to get ready for something. And that's something just happens to be school right now. Mm-hmm. So when you're talking about integrity, you're talking about a parent and a kid knowing where that kid stands, being honest about it, and saying, what do I need to do to help my kid get through the next year with good grades? Mm-hmm. And so that's the integrity part of it, is knowing where the kid stands now mm-hmm. and where they need to be when school starts back.
Okay. I see Miss Wilson's from Danley and Miss Shonda Williams, they're on Facebook, and Miss Wilson says that they're thinking that the first few weeks will be intervention with a review for the students, and that parents, it's definitely important that parents begin to participate because they'll play a big part. And Ms. Shonda says that parental involvement is going to be key, going to be very important. So there's preparation, as you mentioned, Ms. Carlos, everybody has to be prepared. This is something new for all. Teachers, it's not easy. It's really this time it's just not easy on teachers, not easy on students, not easy on parents. Even older students, they may have to step in and help mom and dad out to, some of these math courses. I've had to go on YouTube and help my daughters with pre-calculus and all this type of stuff. I'm like, man. So, you may have to have assistance from the older kids to help with homework, help with classwork. But I think it'll bring the family together. You're having to work together to make sure that everybody does so everybody has a part, but you cannot be successful if you do not prepare. Mr. Troy.
Mr. Alvin.
Yes, sir.
Some of the things that we were talking about integrity, but parents also have to expect the unexpected when school return. And that unexpected is things we don't know now, but mm-hmm. just by researching and listening to other school systems talk about how they're going to get prepared. It's right. Some of the things that I think everybody needs to prepare for. And some of those things might be, Saturday schools. I'm not saying that's going to happen in Alabama, but you right. almost have to plan for the unexpected and
right.
extended school days. It might be smaller classroom size. They might be doing temperature checks. The kids might have to have PPE, personal protection equipment when they come to class and to school.
Right.
They also might have a lunch in the classroom. Right. So all of these things may be new. So I think we need to also prepare the kids and the parents for that riding the school bus may change. So all of those things are planning and prepping for the next school year. And it doesn't mean that it's going to happen. It just means to plan for the unexpected.
Well, and even the leaders have to plan for the unexpected, because when you mention school bus, I keep thinking about these elementary kids, kindergartners specifically, a kindergarten, even in the classroom, social distancing and things of that nature. Those are going to be some difficult tasks for teachers to ensure that these little kids are not touching, that they wear the PPE. Kids are just prone to share snacks. That's just something that little kids do. So, but then you have educators trying to do that along with perform her responsibility to teach. That's something that administration needs to prepare too also, because that would be a very difficult task for someone to do all those things, because educators, whether we want to own up to it or not, are really acting as mom, dad, doctor, lawyer, and all that stuff already. But if you've got to do all those things and teach, that's going to be difficult. So I think this preparation is not only for parents, students, It's actually for the administration to make the right decisions as we move forward for the school year.
It's also could be a good time.
Mr. Troy,
I'm sorry.
go ahead, Mr. Troy. I was going to say, Mr. Troy, could you add to that?
Yeah, I was thinking like way out of the box right now. This may be a good time, and we talked to our kids throughout the years about this, is networking. Maybe the parents could start some sort of networking within their own schools, their own communities, because not every one person is going to know and have all the information. So if I have a piece, Mr. Hutch has a piece, Mr. Carlos has a piece, you can put those pieces together, and as a community, a school community, maybe we can get parents together and get them to network, talk to each other, because we are in right now the unknown. We have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow, this school year, how it's going to affect or anything. But if you can amass, so to speak, amass the troops, meaning get the parents together, maybe they have some ideas, maybe they be able to help each other out, getting the kids back and forth and coming up with different ideas on how to new schools, so to speak. So networking, I believe, could be beneficial to help not only the students, the parents, and the school administration too.
Right, absolutely.
And I keep reiterating again, 6 months is a long time to be out of school. So I'm going to say that probably until school starts back. I've never seen it before. So some kids are going to be just behind just based on the 6 months. So when we talk about being prepared, the 6 month time frame is almost a whole year that a kid will be going to school. Yep. So you might be putting that kid back a year in education, and then been trying to get him back up to par may be a task. So those are the things that we really need to plan for when we talk about returning to school in the fall. 6 month period of time where most kids have played, been off, relaxing their brain, and sometimes not even getting online to do research and read. And I know, Mr. Alvin, you're a big proponent of this. You want kids to read. Yeah. And the more reading you do, the better off you're going to be. You're going to discover new things. So if you do nothing else during the summer, we want to say read.
Continue to read, and that's awesome, Ms. Carlos. And another thing, parents, encourage your young people and let them know that it's a new slate. I mean, I don't care how your school year was last year. This is a new slate for everybody. It's a brand new beginning, and you can be that A student. You just got it, regardless of what happened up until this coming year. Let them know that you have a new slate. You're going in. You're an A student. Go walking through the door. Everybody that walks through the door the first day of school, they are A students. All you got to do is maintain that, and you do that by preparing. Reading, like Ms. Carlos said, if you read, readers are leaders. And my wife taught me that readers are leaders. I think that's probably posted in pretty much every elementary school teacher's classroom. If you want to be a leader, you read. You read what someone else is doing, has done something that you want to do, and you strive to become that. So reading is very important. So, you know, while these kids are on the video games and all these things, grab a book. Grab some type of book. Hey, let's trade some things off. You play your game an hour, you read a book an hour. Trade some things out. Make sure that you're educating them. Make sure, even if it's an online book, get something in their hands that they can read to prepare. If they're not as good in math as they should be, get math, put them online, do some YouTube, some type of practice with math, prepare them this time, take advantage of this. This time at home, when all the older kids are home, take advantage, let them sit down with the younger kids. You sit down with your kids and make sure that they are staying on top of things. Mr. Carlos iterates, we've been out of school a long time, and we're not sure how much longer it will be. So during this time, make sure that you as a parent are being a champion in their life by making sure that they be a leader by reading. So that's a great responsibility as a parent, and they're not going, it's your responsibility, because a child would rather play a game than read a book. So if you're saying, if you're cutting back on their time in the fun, and make sure that reading becomes fun. Maybe read with them. Go to the park, go outside, do something. But make sure that you're using your time wisely as you prepare for the upcoming year. We're excited. You know, we are preparing for that now. We don't know whether we enjoyed. We go into the schools. We go on some schools we go to pretty much the schools we attend, we go at least once a week, and then sometimes we have 2 schools a day. This is something that we really enjoy, riding our bus, our van to these locations. This is who we are. But because of what's going on, we've had to make changes. We have to prepare. We don't know what is going to happen. But what we will do is support the school system and whatever decisions that they do make, and we will play our part, just like everyone else should, to make sure that you are supporting MPS, supporting the teachers, and supporting the students, because we have to prepare our students in our city to be the best that they can be. You guys have anything else you want to share?
No, I just want to say this is a discussion, and it's by no means saying that this is what parents have to do.
Right,
but
right.
These are suggestions to the parents and the students. And for those students that's part of the Fortitude Leadership Mentoring Program, we're going to strongly suggest that you do these things. And if you share that information, hopefully others will do it too. So I just want to reiterate again that these are suggestions to parents and the students, but those that's in the Fortitude Leadership Mentoring Program, we strongly suggest that you adhere to these and use those skills that we talked about and make yourself better for the next school year.
Absolutely. And for you guys out there, if you're a young person that's not a part of Fortitude Leadership Academy and you would like for them to become a part, you can inbox me. I can get information to you. As I mentioned, we do have our online Google Classroom. We also do some Zoom classrooms on some Saturdays. We would definitely welcome them and share information that we have. And when this is over, they definitely will be able to come to our location on Saturdays where we get together, we share, we pour into them. Now, we actually we have a curriculum, the Life and Soft Skills curriculum, by way I'm the author, and I think I have one of the books behind me. I do have them. But we actually mentor. We use that as a resource. So the things that we're discussing with you, the things we discuss with the kids, we actually prepare for these things. A lot of what we do as a mentor, and anyone that's a mentor know, is your own experiences. So we take what we've experienced in life, and then we just baby it down so that they can understand what's going on, so that we can prepare them to be better than we are. So we always encourage our young people to move from good to great. I want to thank everyone for tuning in today. Mr. Troy, Mr. Shannon, Mr. Carlos, you guys have anything else you want to share?
No, not for me. No, sir.
Well, you, Shannon? You good?
I'm good, thank you.
How about you, Mr. Carlos? You done?
The only thing I'm going to say is for students to have fun, but also practice.
Have fun, practice, and make sure you guys wear your mask. It's been mandated. Hey, we love you guys. We look forward to seeing you guys next week. We will be on again next week at 9 o'clock. For the Good to Great Young Men, we will be on Saturday morning. I will send out the information for you to join as well. Hey, you guys have a great rest of the week, a great weekend. If you need us for anything, just give us a call, give us a text, or give us a shout, and we will be there with our mask on. Thank you. Y'all have a good day.
All right.
All right.
All right.